Welcome to Trick Out Your CNC, where we talk about the various ways you can improve upon the stock configuration of your Winfinity Elite. Today, you need a pendant. The first step after turning the power off is to remove these little two screws that hold the housings on. And you have to do this on each of the X, the Y, and the B motors. The Z-axis can be left alone. It's fine as it is. And if you have a rotary fourth axis, that's a totally different setup. We'll talk about that in a different discussion. But the reason why we're doing this is the default setting of 400 pulses per revolution is too coarse for the massive pendant to actually trigger any movement. So we've got to reduce that, or we've got to change that to at least 800. I'm going to suggest putting it at 4,000 pulses per revolution so that you get finer cuts. It doesn't really have any negative practical impact. It has only positive. So I go to 4,000. Now you can see here in the dip switches to get 4,000, I have it set up at on, off for the first 4 dip switches, and you leave the last two alone. They don't need to be changed at all. So once you've done that, just put the housing back on, and then do the other 2 axes. And then we'll move into inside the enclosure and do the next step. Okay, so now we're going to go inside the enclosure. I've already pulled the screws out so I can open this thing up. There's a couple things you're going to notice. Number one, in order to make your e-stop work, you've got to actually move this black pin that's currently on e-stop 1 from e-stop 2 to e-stop 1, as I have it here. So the black one and then the green one should be what you have. But the stock configuration, both the black and the green wire are piggybacked onto e-stop 2. And that's not going to let the e-stop button on the pendant work. So you need to make that move. All right, the second thing we need to do, the pendant by itself has a plastic housing that goes over this D-sub connector. You need to remove that because it's not going to fit in with the door closed. You'll have to take that off. So I've taken mine off a long time ago, and who knows where it is now. It's not necessary. And once you've done that, maybe throw a few tie straps on it around that cable and some other cables to help hold them in place and add some strain relief. And really, that's all there is to the inside. Just run that in from the back through this hole, up through here, put some strain relief on it, remove the connector, the D-sub housing, plug it in, move your e-stop pin, and then you're done. Close the door and move on to the next step. So now we can power up like normal. And you can see I've got the e-stop needing to be pressed, and I'll go ahead and do it on the pendant since we have that now for the first time. So press and pull it, and my alarm status is gone. I'm all good. I don't need to go home yet, and I don't want to yet because my motor settings are wrong. So I'm going to go into the settings and enter your password if you've set one. Otherwise, just hit the enter key and move on. In here in your X-axis, you're going to set the pulses per revolution to 4,000 or whatever you've decided to set it to. And then once you're done with that, hit save and do the same thing for the Y-axis. And hit save. The B-axis should be slaved, so you don't need to set that up separately. It's all good to go. And now you're set up, and you should be able to use the pendant. You are one step closer to tricking out your CNC.